Hello guys, news today here. What's something people don't know about the very first woman in history? Imagine a world untouched by human hands, a place where only animals roamed freely, where plants grew wild and rivers flowed undisturbed through endless green landscapes. There were no cities, no roads, and not a single person to be found. The air was filled with the songs of birds, the rustle of leaves, and the gentle sounds of water moving over stones. This was a world in its purest form, peaceful and full of life, but missing something very important. That's how it all began. The dawn of time, when the earth was new and every sunrise brought fresh possibilities. The world was beautiful, but it was waiting for its first people to arrive and give it meaning. In this untouched paradise, God created Adam, the very first man. Adam opened his eyes to a world bursting with color and life, but he was the only human there. Surrounded by animals and the wonders of nature, Adam explored the garden, naming the creatures and marveling at the beauty around him. Yet, even in such a perfect place, Adam felt a deep loneliness. He had no one to share his thoughts, his discoveries, or his joys. Seeing Adam's need for companionship, God decided to create a partner for him. While Adam slept peacefully, God took one of his ribs and with great care formed Eve, the very first woman. When Adam awoke, he found Eve beside him, a companion who was both like him and wonderfully unique. Eve was a gift, created to share in Adam's life and to bring balance and joy to the world. Eve became Adam's partner and friend, the first woman, and the mother of all the living. She was not just a companion, but an equal, someone to walk beside Adam, to laugh with him, and to help care for the world they had been given. Together they formed the very first family, the beginning of all human relationships. Together, Adam and Eve lived in the beautiful Garden of Eden, a place overflowing with everything they could ever need. The garden was alive with color, flowers of every shade, trees heavy with fruit, and gentle streams winding through the land. It was a place of perfect harmony, where every day brought new wonders to discover. They cared for the garden, walked among the animals, and enjoyed a peaceful life. Adam and Eve learned about the world together, watching the animals play, listening to the wind in the trees, and feeling the soft grass beneath their feet. Every moment was filled with curiosity and delight as they explored their home side by side. Their home was filled with rivers that sparkled in the sunlight, fruit trees that offered delicious food, and flowers of every color imaginable. The air was sweet with the scent of blossoms, and the garden seemed to sing with life. Adam and Eve never had to worry about hunger or shelter. Everything they needed was right there, waiting for them. Adam and Eve didn't have to work hard for food. They simply picked what they wanted from the trees and vines. Every meal was a celebration of the garden's abundance, and they were grateful for the gifts of nature. Their days were filled with laughter, conversation, and the simple joy of being together. They explored every corner of Eden, naming the animals and learning about the world around them. Each discovery brought them closer, as they shared their thoughts and dreams. Adam and Eve were the first to experience the wonder of friendship and partnership, building a bond that would shape the future of humanity. The Garden of Eden was a true paradise. No worries, no pain, just happiness and peace. It was a place where love and trust grew, where Adam and Eve could rest in the shade of the trees and watch the sunset together, knowing they were safe and cared for. Eve's arrival meant Adam was no longer alone. Together, they started the human story. Their partnership was the foundation of all families to come, and their love was the first chapter in the story of humanity. Their partnership was the beginning of family and friendship. Through their bond, they showed that people are meant to share life's journey, to support and care for one another, and to build a world filled with love and connection. Eve's creation was a turning point. She was strong, beautiful, and essential to the world's first family. She brought new energy and perspective, helping Adam see the world in new ways. Eve's presence was a reminder that every person has a unique and important role to play in the story of life. This is how the story of humanity began, with Eve, the very first woman. Her courage, wisdom, and kindness set the stage for all who would come after her. Eve's story is a celebration of new beginnings, of partnership, and of the incredible journey that is human life. Gap 3S. In the heart of the Garden of Eden, there stood a tree unlike any other, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Its fruit was beautiful, golden and bright, hanging among deep green leaves. Adam and Eve knew they could enjoy every blessing the garden offered, but God had given them one important rule. They must not eat the fruit from this tree. One quiet morning, as sunlight filtered through the leaves and the air shimmered with promise. Eve wandered near the center of the garden. She gazed at the forbidden tree, its fruit glowing in the soft light. A whisper of curiosity stirred within her. Why was this fruit different? What would happen if she tasted it? Suddenly, a voice broke the silence. The serpent, clever and sly, appeared beside her. "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" he asked, his words weaving doubt and wonder together. Eve replied, "We may eat fruit from the trees, but God warned us not to eat or even touch this one, or we will die." The serpent smiled, his voice smooth and tempting. "You won't die. In fact, if you eat it, your eyes will be opened. You'll know things you've never known before. You'll be like God, knowing good and evil." Eve's heart fluttered with uncertainty and longing. She looked at the fruit again, so inviting, so perfect. She wondered, what if the serpent was right? What if this fruit would give her wisdom, help her understand the world more deeply and bring her closer to the divine? Her hand trembled as she reached for the fruit. In that moment, Eve was filled with questions and a powerful desire to learn, to grow, to experience life in all its fullness. She took the fruit, feeling its cool skin in her palm, and took a bite. The taste was sweet, but as the juice touched her tongue, a wave of new awareness rushed over her. Eve's mind filled with thoughts and emotions, wonder, fear, guilt, and awe all at once. She realized she had crossed a boundary, stepped into a new world of knowledge and responsibility. This single act changed everything. Eve's decision was more than just eating forbidden fruit, it was the first moment of true choice, of free will. She had followed her curiosity and her longing for wisdom, forever altering the course of humanity. Eve's courage and her mistake were both part of what made her human. Her story teaches us that choices shape our lives and that with knowledge comes both beauty and challenge. The moment Eve ate the fruit, she awakened the human journey, one of learning, growth, and the hope of redemption. Gap 3S. As Eve stood beneath the branches of the tree of knowledge, the taste of the forbidden fruit still lingering on her lips, a new awareness filled her senses. The world seemed sharper, brighter, and yet, something inside her felt changed, uncertain. Clutching the fruit, she turned and found Adam approaching, curiosity and concern written on his face. Eve's eyes met Adam's, searching for understanding. She offered him the fruit, her hand trembling, not just with fear but with hope that he might share in what she had discovered. Adam looked at Eve, then at the fruit, and saw something different in her gaze, a mixture of wonder and worry, love and longing. Without a word, Adam took the fruit from Eve's hand. He hesitated, the weight of their choice hanging heavy in the air. In that moment, Adam was faced with his own test, a decision that would shape not only his fate, but the fate of all who came after. Trusting Eve and wanting to remain by her side, Adam bit into the fruit. Instantly, a rush of knowledge and emotion swept over him. Adam and Eve looked at each other, and for the first time they saw themselves as they truly were, vulnerable, exposed, and profoundly human. Shame crept in where innocence once lived, and they rushed to cover themselves with fig leaves, startled by their newfound self-awareness. The peaceful harmony of Eden was broken. When the sound of God's presence moved through the garden, Adam and Eve hid among the trees, hearts pounding with guilt and fear. They could not undo their choice. When God called out to them, they stepped forward, voices trembling as they confessed what they had done. The consequences of their actions were swift and deep. No longer could they remain in the perfect paradise of Eden. Pain, hardship, and struggle would now be part of their lives. But even as they faced the unknown, Adam and Eve faced it together, united by their shared experience and the hope that, somehow, they could find redemption beyond the garden gates. This moment, the sharing of the fruit, marked the beginning of a new chapter for humanity, one defined by free will, consequence, and the enduring power of partnership in the face of adversity. In the very beginning, before there were cities or civilizations, there was just one man, Adam. He was the first human, carefully formed from the dust of the earth, shaped by the hands of God himself. In a world bursting with life and color, Adam stood alone, surrounded by the beauty of the Garden of Eden, a paradise unlike anything we can imagine. God breathed life into Adam, giving him not just a body but a soul, a spark of consciousness and purpose. Adam opened his eyes to a world filled with sunlight, gentle breezes, and the songs of birds. He felt the warmth of the sun on his face and the soft earth beneath his feet, experiencing the wonder of creation for the very first time. As Adam explored the garden, he discovered he was not truly alone. Animals of every kind roamed the land, majestic lions, gentle deer, colorful birds, and playful rabbits. Adam was given the special task of naming each creature, a sign of his unique role in this new world. He cared for the garden, tending to the plants and animals, but deep inside he felt a longing for something more. Despite the beauty and abundance around him, Adam sensed an emptiness, a missing piece in his heart. God saw Adam's need for companionship and decided to create a partner for him. That's when Eve arrived, brought into existence to stand beside Adam, not behind or ahead, but as his equal and friend. With Eve by his side, Adam was no longer alone. Together they laughed, learned, and explored the wonders of Eden. They became a team, sharing joys and responsibilities, supporting each other through every new experience. Adam and Eve worked hand in hand, nurturing the garden and caring for its creatures. They learned from each other, growing stronger as a pair. Their partnership was built on trust, respect, and a deep sense of unity, making their bond unbreakable. In time, Adam and Eve became the first family, the ancestors of every person who has ever walked the earth. Their story is the beginning of all human stories, a reminder that we are all connected by a shared origin. God gave them one important rule: they were not to eat from a certain tree in the center of the garden. This rule was more than just a command, it was a test of trust, a way for Adam and Eve to show their faith and obedience. Adam's role was to guide and protect his family, to lead with kindness and wisdom. Eve was his partner, his confidant, and his friend. Together they faced the challenges of life, supporting each other through every trial and triumph. Their story teaches us the importance of companionship, teamwork, and the power of working together. It shows that life's journey is richer and more meaningful when shared with someone who understands and supports you. Adam and Eve's partnership became the foundation of humanity, setting an example for all relationships that followed. Their unity and love helped them overcome obstacles and build a life together. Side by side, they explored the mysteries of the world, learned new things, and faced challenges with courage and hope. Their journey was filled with discovery, growth, and the strength that comes from being together. The story of Adam and Eve reminds us that people are not meant to be alone. We are designed for connection, for friendship, and for love. Companionship brings out the best in us and helps us face whatever life may bring. The journey of life is always better when it's shared with a partner, a friend, or a family. Adam and Eve's story is a timeless reminder that together we are stronger, braver, and more complete. After leaving the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve found themselves in a new and unfamiliar world. No longer surrounded by paradise, they had to learn how to survive, to grow food, and to build a life from the ground up. Despite the hardships and the weight of their choices, they began a family, determined to move forward and create a future for themselves and their descendants. Their first son, Cain, grew up learning to work the soil, becoming a skilled farmer who tilled the earth and harvested its crops. Their second son, Abel, chose a different path, tending flocks and caring for sheep as a gentle shepherd. Each brother found his own way to contribute to the family's survival, and both took pride in their work. In time, both brothers decided to bring offerings to God, hoping to show their gratitude and devotion. Cain brought the fruits of his labor, fresh produce from his fields, while Abel offered the best of his flock, a healthy lamb. But God looked with favor on Abel's offering, while Cain's was not accepted. This moment marked a turning point in their relationship. Overcome by jealousy and hurt, Cain allowed his anger to fester. Instead of seeking understanding or forgiveness, he confronted Abel in the field. In a moment of rage, Cain struck his brother, committing the first act of violence in human history. This tragic event would echo through generations as a warning about the dangers of unchecked emotions. The loss of Abel was not just a personal tragedy for Adam and Eve, but a sorrow that marked the world's first tragedy. It was a powerful lesson about the consequences of our choices, and how envy and anger can lead to irreversible harm. The world felt emptier, and the family was left to mourn and reflect on what had happened. God confronted Cain, asking him about his brother's whereabouts. Cain tried to hide his guilt, famously responding, "Am I my brother's keeper?" But God knew the truth. As punishment, Cain was sent away to wander the earth, marked and separated from his family. This exile was both a consequence and a chance for Cain to reflect on his actions. Despite their grief, Adam and Eve continued to build their family. Over time, they had more children, sons and daughters who would help shape the future of humanity. Among their daughters were Aclima and Azura, whose names are preserved in some ancient traditions. These daughters played important roles in the early human community, helping to ensure the family's survival and growth. Aclima, often described as Cain's twin sister, is sometimes considered the first daughter born to Adam and Eve. She worked alongside her brothers and sisters, helping to care for the land and the animals. Through her, the family line continued, and the bonds between siblings became even more important as the family grew. After the loss of Abel, Adam and Eve were blessed with another son, Seth. Seth would become a key figure in the family's story, and through him, many more children were born. The family expanded, and each new life brought hope and the promise of a new beginning. Despite the pain and hardship they faced, Adam and Eve's family continued to grow. Their children and grandchildren spread out, exploring new lands and building new communities. The story of their perseverance and resilience became the foundation for all of humanity's future generations. The story of Cain, Abel, and Aclima is not just about loss and conflict, it is also about the strength of family, the importance of forgiveness, and the hope that comes with new beginnings. Through their struggles and triumphs, the human family continued to grow and evolve. Even after experiencing deep loss, Adam and Eve found hope in each new day. Their story reminds us that even in the face of tragedy, there is always the possibility of renewal and growth. Each generation carries forward the lessons of the past, striving to build a better future. The family's journey is the root of all humanity, connecting us across time and place. From their story we learn about the power of choice, the importance of compassion, and the enduring hope that unites us all. Eve's story matters because she is the mother of all living people. Her life connects everyone on earth as one big family. Eve's choices in the garden remind us that our actions have lasting effects. Her story teaches us to think carefully and choose kindness. Eve and Adam's partnership shows the value of friendship and support. We all need others to share life's joys and challenges. Their story is the first example of family and teamwork. Eve's legacy is about beginnings, choices, and connection. By learning about her, we understand more about ourselves. Eve's story is simple, yet deep, reminding us of our shared roots. That's why her story is still told today. Eve's journey is the beginning of everyone's story. Throughout history, the question of who was truly the first woman has sparked curiosity and debate. In some ancient stories, another figure appears: Lilith. According to certain myths, Lilith was created before Eve, sometimes described as Adam's first companion. These tales often portray Lilith as independent and strong-willed, choosing to leave the garden rather than submit. The story of Lilith is found mainly in Jewish folklore and later mystical writings, like the Alphabet of Ben Sira, rather than in the main texts of the Bible. Over time, Lilith has become a symbol of independence in literature, art, and even modern culture. Her story raises questions about equality, choice, and the roles of women. But when we look at the core religious texts, like the Book of Genesis, Eve is clearly named as the first woman, formed from Adam's side to be his partner and companion. Eve's story is the foundation for countless traditions and beliefs across the world. She is recognized as the mother of all living, her journey shaping the way generations understand beginnings, partnership, and responsibility. Eve's narrative is woven through history, faith, and family. While Lilith's legend adds fascinating layers to our understanding of ancient beliefs, Eve's story remains central in the world's most widely read texts. Her choices, her legacy, and her connection to all humanity are why, from my perspective, Eve is the true first woman. No matter how many myths arise, the story of Eve stands at the root of our shared human journey, a symbol of life, choice, and connection. And that is why, for me and for so many, Eve will always be remembered as the first woman.